The Spirit's goal in my life is to make me a better God worshiper. Make sure you catch that. I don't need to excel at whacking sins. I need to excel at worshiping God. Because when I love God and focus on Him, all of a sudden my affections change and I stop feeding the moles in my life that are popping up. And they don't have the energy to come up anymore because they're now slowly dying out of my life because I'm feeding my heart with something else. In the Holy Spirit, you can have this kind of relationship, living, dynamic, empowered, and personal relationship with the God of the universe who gives you life, who gives you direction, who gives you perspective, and then gives you a compulsion to walk with Him in such a way that you've never known before. It is possible. And that is normal Christianity. You and I will never be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect on this side of the world. I still have to swap my moles. But man, the victories that you'll find are amazing. How in the world can you get there is the question. And that's what we're going to wrap up the rest of our time with. How can you experience a Spirit-transformed life? Number one, you yield to the Spirit. Now that word yield means submission, and I was going to use one thought analogy, but I changed because I was thinking like of wrestling or MMA where you tap out. But when you tap out, you're basically saying, I'm done. And that's not the intention of what our yielding to the Spirit looks like. Instead, I went to an equally amazing experience, the DMV. In California, DMV says this, that the red yields traffic sign requires drivers to slow down, and this is a quote, and be ready to stop to let any vehicle, bicyclist, or pedestrian pass before you proceed. Some of you have never known about that. You just blow right through yield signs. I just helped you out be a better driver today. You're welcome. It tells a driver, that yield sign does, that all other traffic present has the right of way over him or her. And if you've ever been at an intersection where you know there's a yield sign and someone blows that off and shoots through the yield sign, it destroys the whole flow of traffic because what happened? They forgot their place in line. And everything goes to chaos. Spiritually, in our walk with God, the Holy Spirit, when you yield to Him, it means that you acknowledge that God has the right of way in every area of your life. In every area, when you get to the intersection of your life, God has the right of way, not you. How do you know it's happening? How do you know if you're yielding? Well, you surrender your plans, you surrender your agendas, your goals, and even your own will to His. It's being alert and aware, again, of your mind now that's being transformed to what God is wanting you to do and then acting on that at the right time. It's checking your agenda to give it to Him to say, God, I now want your agenda running my life because my agenda keeps me over here where life is messed up and I want to live on this side where my life is beginning transformed because this is where joy and purpose and happiness land. That's what He's wanting you to do by way of yielding. And when you do yield, 2 Corinthians 3:18 talks about this process. We all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed. When we get into this heart position, this heart mode, we're transformed in the image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. We contemplate, we consider, we think on the glory of God, we focus on Christ, and when that happens, the indwelling Spirit changes us from the inside out. And this is the most scary and the most amazing thing is He knows you. He knows every dark secret. He knows every broken part of my life, fully aware of who I am, and yet He still says, I'm going to work and love and care for you. And He's able to do all those things, bringing spiritual transformation. Just remember that you are like clay. And the Spirit of God is pulling and molding to making you into something beautiful. And He's pulling and prodding. And you are fighting sometimes against Him, and He's trying to shape you, and you're trying to compete with Him. When He says, would you just yield and let me work on you? Look at Isaiah 29:16. You turn things upside down, Isaiah writes, as if the potter were thought to be like the clay. What is formed say to the one who formed it? You did not make me. can the pot say to the potter, you know nothing? I know very few of us would be as bold to outwardly tell the Spirit of God, you don't know what you're doing when you're trying to frame and fold my life into looking like you. But our actions can tell a very different story. And that's why we have to be continually driven and led by His influence and not our own.